The question hung in the air, sharp and unbelievable. Heads turned. Hardened soldiers, their faces etched with 40 days of fear, looked back through the ranks, searching for the source of such reckless words. Who would dare to speak when generals were silent? His name was David, son of Jesse, of the tribe of Judah, from the forgotten town of Bethlehem. He was the youngest of 8 brothers, which in that world meant he was the inheritor of leftovers. The fields too far from town, the sheep too stubborn for the older boys, the long, solitary nights on the hills with nothing but his own thoughts, his harp, and the immense weight of the stars pressing down like the eyes of something ancient and watchful. He was a shepherd, not a soldier. He was not yet a king, though the anointing oil of the prophet Samuel had dried on his head months before, in a quiet, secret ceremony that had deeply confused his brothers and terrified his father. Divine interruptions tend to terrify ordinary people, but after the holy oil, after the whispered prophecy, he had been sent right back to the sheep, because that is often how heaven works. It marks you with a destiny, and then it gives you the silence and the solitude to grow into the shape of that marking. It was in those hills, in those long, forgotten seasons of quiet and danger, that David became who he truly was. Not the king the world would one day know, but the man underneath. And there were 2 stories, 2 encounters that no one in that valley knew about, that had forged him into the most dangerous person on that entire field. He had just recounted them to King Saul only minutes before, in the suffocating quiet of a royal tent that smelled of old leather, sweat, and the sour odor of anxious men. Saul, the king, had looked at this boy, this clear-eyed, ruddy-faced shepherd, and seen the ghost of his own failure. He saw a fragile, impossible hope, because if this boy died in that valley, something would break in the spirit of Israel that might never be repaired. "You are not able to go against this Philistine," Saul had said, his voice heavy with the weight of his crown and his fear. "You're but a youth, and he has been a man of war from his youth." Saul saw a lamb being sent to a lion, but David hadn't argued. He hadn't postured or protested. He had answered the king's doubt with stories, not of men, but of beasts. He began with the first, a memory from 2 summers past, of an afternoon when the light turned to gold, a story about a lion,